This right here is the fastest railing system I've ever installed. You want to learn why? Keep on watching. Let's get started. I've installed a number of different types of deck railings, and most of them consist of the same properties and installation methods. However, this system is completely different than any other system I've installed, and it significantly reduced the amount of installation time needed compared to any other railing system that I've installed. There are a lot of deck railings out there, but this specific one stopped me in my tracks when I saw it at the International Builder Show this year. It is called the RDI Elevation Rail from Barrette Outdoor Living. And the reason why it's so unique and different is the fact that it comes with this stainless cable kit system where you actually slide it into place into the post, which saves an extreme amount of time when it comes to the installation process. I'm really excited to try this out for the very first time, but we need to get to post first. Let's get to it. As far as post layout is concerned, there are multiple different types of posts. Generally, you're going to see end post, mid post, corner post, and end stair posts if you do have stairs. The first post that I'll be installing on this project is this mid post, and you might think that this is actually a corner post, but it's not, because it's going down the stairwell and not turning at a 90-degree angle. Because we have a picture frame deck, it's actually extremely easy to center these post brackets right along the perimeter of our deck boards, and once we have it positioned properly, I go around every single corner to mark every single fastening location. With our holes located, I then pre-drill every single location to guarantee that we have as secure of a hold as possible without splitting any of the structural lumber below. Once our holes are pre-drilled, we can move on to fastening, and for fasteners, I'm going with a structural wood screw by Fasten Master. These are 6-inch long screws, and they're extremely strong and durable, perfect for a railing. Plus, they are specifically designed for decks, so they're perfect for exterior use, just like this application. You certainly don't have to use these specific screws on your project, but if you're interested in finding them, I'll make sure to have a link in the description box below. One of the most important elements of the installation process is to make sure the post is properly leveled perfectly, and that means leveled on all 4 sides. Once the post is determined to be perfectly level, I then cut off any of the excess with a very sharp utility knife, or in this case a multi-tool, and once it's cleaned up, we can install our cover plate. Each cover plate comes in 2 identical looking pieces, and the only thing is needed is to push these plastic plugs in on the underside of our trim plate. Once in place, I then slide it onto the post, and we can now move on to our next post, which is this corner 90-degree post. This is a very beefy post, and it actually requires 6 connection points instead of 4 with the midways. I personally found that the fastest way to line this up properly is to just take 2 speed squares and go right up against your deck, then evenly disperse the spacing in between each sides, and once that is positioned properly, you can start highlighting your fastening locations and then pre-drill all the holes, and once the pre-drilling is accounted for, you can fasten down your post as needed. But as you can see, I don't screw in all these screws all the way down until every single one is in place, and that way I can guarantee that I have everything lined up properly and our post is perfectly centered right along our border of our deck. I checked for levelness, and this post was perfectly level the very first time, so I didn't even need any shims along the way, so I installed our cover plate and moved on to the next post. Shims were needed for this next post, and just to clarify, these black shims are included in the packaging for each post, but these shims were good for accounting for large discrepancies in your post, but for small, thinner discrepancies, I suggest a thinner shim. For this particular deck, I do have quite a few corner posts because it's such an oddly shaped deck, but on most projects, you're probably going to see the majority of your posts being a midway. However, you are going to eventually have some end posts. And the end posts are positioned right up against your house because only one side is going to get a rail system while the other side has a nice flat back to it with no seam. Now that I have all my corners and end posts installed on this one stretch, I can start moving on to our midway posts. And these are posts spaced out evenly between our end posts and our corner posts. And the max span for each one of these sections is going to be 68 inches or a little over 5.5 feet. And that's from the face of one post to the face of the next post. One extremely key element to keep in mind is to make sure that you're measuring from the face of each post, not the actual bracket below. Because if you measure from the bracket below, it actually might turn out where you have uneven spacing in between each post, and that's obviously the last thing you want after you have all your posts installed. With these midway locations, you will have to beef up the framing below in order to make sure you have plenty of structural support for our fasteners, which I did do in a previous video on the deck framing of this project. One of the main reasons why we're so particular about the leveling portion of this project is because of these midways, and that's because these midways are connecting these posts together. And if these posts aren't perfectly level, it's going to kick the post out one direction or the other, and you're going to easily see that discrepancy at the very top of your post once you install your handrail. Once we have all of our midways installed on this entire stretch, we can move on to our stairs. By taking a measurement at the very bottom and then correlating that measurement to the very top, I can guarantee myself that the center slot on both of these posts are going to line up perfectly. One element that you do have to be aware of when installing this system is that I'm having to use a corner post at this location because it's going into a 90-degree angle once it gets from the stair to the side of the house on this side. And that means I'm having to use this larger post bracket, which kicks everything out slightly. If I didn't do a picture frame deck, I highly doubt that anyone would even notice this discrepancy, but I did want to make sure that people were aware of this. But I also want to suggest that if you do want a picture frame deck while also still utilizing this system, you could always go with a wider board around the perimeter, which would make this railing kick out much less visible. In all honesty, I am very nitpicky about stuff like this, but now knowing how everything looks in the end, I barely even notice it, and I actually know of this circumstance versus people that have no idea about it, which are much less likely to notice it. We can finally move on to our final two posts, which are stair end posts. These are very similar to the end posts that we previously installed, but they are angled slightly at the very top of this post. Once the fastening location is determined, I then pre-drill holes, install our fasteners and our cover plate, and move on to the next side where we can install our final post. With that last one fully installed, we can focus our efforts now on our cable rail, which is the real star of the show. We have our posts in, now it's time for the real innovation portion of this entire system, which is our cable rail assembly. It comes exactly like this, and we slide it into the sides of our posts. And the beautiful thing about that is that it saves a tremendous amount of time and energy when trying to assemble these wires, because normally you have to feed every single one of these wires individually, section by section, and that takes a very long time to do. Trust me, I've done it a number of times. So let's get one of these installed and see how fast this system really is to install. Our level cable guide kit system comes with 2 spools of stainless steel wire. Just make sure you unloosen them with a good firm grip on them because they are highly tensioned with this Velcro grip system. With the black brackets positioned at the top of our cable guide, I slide the first sleeve into our post and then immediately start pulling the second black sleeve away from that post in a sawing motion. I have plenty of extra cable on both sides, so once I pull far enough, I can then slide the second sleeve into our corner post and then pull the cable taut. Once taut, I then take a measurement from post face to post face and burn a 1/4 of an inch. This means that if I measure from face to face 45 inches, I now have to cut 44 3/4 of an inch. Simple enough, and that's because our internal bracket that's installed within our handrail has to slip inside the top bracket of our cable guides, which is why we have to burn a 1/4 of an inch. And with that in place, we can move on to more bracketry. This is called out as their level tensioner, and it's exactly what it's named for. It tensions the entire system together, but it's also specifically for level surfaces. I thread the I thread the wire through on one side and pull as hard as I can physically. Then I do the same exact thing on the opposite side, making sure that it's threaded through properly and then pulled taut. Once at this point, I grab a drill and a 9/16 inch socket attachment and then start tensioning the wire as needed. I do the same exact thing to the opposite side and then push down on the very top cable, basically providing more tension at the very bottom like so, which technically just brings up the loose tension from the bottom up to the top. Then I tighten it down once more with my drill and move on to the next section. One key item to note with our level cable guide system is that one side has the cable coming out from the very top and the other side has the cable coming out at the very bottom. The first one that you install should have the cable coming out from the very top. Once both sides are in position, I then take my measurement, go over to my miter saw and burn 1/4 inch off of that measurement, then install our top beam bracket that we installed previously on the opposite section. Once that's in position, thread our cable wires through our level tensioners, tension them down properly, place further tension on the top stainless steel wire runs, then make sure you drill down even further to make sure that we have as much tension on those rails as possible, and move on to the next section. This entire system is truly gratifying and satisfying because of how quickly you're able to install this entire system in one foul swoop. But one of the most important things to keep in mind when installing to make sure it goes as smoothly as possible is to make sure you spread out that coil wire in a straight, orderly fashion, because if it gets kinked up at all, it really does make the process of trying to pull those wires apart from each other much more difficult. Once I had multiple stainless steel wire sections fully installed, I then went back around to cut all the excess off with some bolt cutters, which made quick work of the cutting process. Any of the excess fits nicely into the channel, and once fits snugly out of the way, I can start installing our top rails. This is the cap that goes over our brackets and really does snap into place quite easily and efficiently. Once our top rails are installed properly, I then grab our top cap and install that right on top of our post, which ties in the entire system together perfectly. Most of these rails and top caps fit in perfectly with just some hand pressure, but you may need to give it a few love taps with a rubber mount. This is now the perfect time to say thank you to the sponsor of this week's video, Barrette Outdoor Living. They have been a sponsor in the past, and the real reason why I've wanted to work with them for so long was because of this specific product, this RDI Elevation Rail I saw at the International Builder Show, and I couldn't wait to use it on a project, so much so that I took on this deck project specifically because I knew I'd be able to use this railing. I'm extremely impressed with this railing. If you want to check it out for yourself, I'll make sure and leave a link in the description box below. Now that we've made it to the stairwell, it's time to introduce a new piece of hardware. This is the stair cable guide, and this particular unit is specifically designed for elevation differences like this around a stairwell. Most principles about this unit are quite similar compared to our level cable guide, but there are a few specific differences. Number one being the bracket at the very top of our rail is slanted in different directions so it can accommodate the elevation difference. And there's also a bolt that you have to push through at the very bottom of our post, and that actually holds our stair cable guide system in place so it doesn't move up and down at all during the tension process. I grab the top rail, clamp it down to both posts, that way I can align it perfectly with the very top of our post, but it also provides the angle that I need. I strike a line on both the top and bottom posts, guaranteeing that I have the exact measurement needed, and bring it over to my miter station. I find the perfect angle based upon the line that I drew, cut it, and move on to the other side. This will be the perfect angle for our top beam bracket, but this actually won't be the perfect angle for our top rail. So keep that in mind, and we will have to cut that at a 90-degree angle eventually. But that's only at our top post, and we need to get our hardware in place first before we even get to that step. With our top beam bracket in place, we actually secure it fully down with 2 screws that come with the kit. Now these are metal tapping screws, so they should penetrate the aluminum channel without any pre-drilling, so make sure you have a screw at the very top and the very bottom, and once those are in place, we can move on to our stair tensioners. And this tensioning system is slightly different than the level tensioning system that we previously installed. There's two springs that come with the kit, part A and part B, and just know that the part B goes on the lower section and the part A goes on the higher section. But with our cable fed through properly, it really is the same exact scenario where as long as we're trying to get as much tension out of the system as possible with our hands prior to drilling, it should tension perfectly with a few love squeezes in the middle during the installation process. With our cables properly tensioned, we can now move our efforts to our top rail. Just keep in mind that the very top portion of this top rail needs to be cut at a 90-degree angle before you start installing, just as you see here, and that's because of this guy. This is a cap adapter which is attached to our top cap that is noted right next to our stairwell. All you have to do differently with this product is just to insert one screw on the inside corner just as you see here, and it will fit in perfectly at the very top of our rails. As for the very bottom of our rails, we have to install this end cap, which I did need to provide a few love taps as you can see here, but it fit in quite nicely, and once in position, you then start installing two screws on the very front. And since the screw heads are powder coated black with the same finish, they blend in extremely nicely as you can see. Our last and final steps of this entire project was to thread in our stainless steel wire cable system into our final two runs, get those tensioned properly, install all of our hardware, our rails, and eventually our caps. And with that complete, we are done in just the nick of time because I'm also running out of daylight. The very next morning, I come back to our deck, and luckily for me, I not only have plenty of light, but I also have a beautiful dry day, which puts a perfect cap on this entire project. This railing really did provide the perfect finishing touch for this entire project, and it really encapsulates this amazing transformation from what it looked like before to what it is now. And that's what I call a truly beautiful, sexy beast of a deck remodel. Oh yeah,